how your response is to a lot of comments and understanding that in the online community, there is no tone. Everyone reads their own tone into comments, and I've also seen on the flip side, people who've had comments that have been like, oh my god, I love your costume, you totally should have done this. Yep. But now the person's taking that as, you should have done this. And so now it becomes a battle of what's right and wrong in the cosplay, and that was never even the intention. And so the online community, it's so fickle, but at the same time, it's such a huge, expansive network. And it's one of those, like, I would love if all of you guys came onto my Facebook page and sent me a message like, did you like the panel? Did you hate the panel? Did you want to talk to me? If you want to connect with someone, and that's my whole reason for cosplaying, is I love to storytell and to tell stories with people and connect with people. So if I can't use the online vein to connect with people, then really all I have is the conventions. And when I go home at the end of the day, that's it. You know, and didn't we come from a world of, I hate using this word, but my dad loves it, basement dwellers, or the kids, the geeks who were beat up on. We were the people who were made fun of in high school. We had a crap time. So why should we have to come to this one event, or now series of events, but why should we have to come to this event where it used to be a Christmas and a new home, and now feel that same crap behavior? Like, this was supposed to be the escape from that. So I think it's one of those, it's a delicate balance between understanding where you're coming from, understanding that you can't control everything, and that unfortunately, people have freedom of speech, particularly online, and you can only choose, you can't rewind it back up. You cannot dictate what other people do, you can only affect how you choose to react to it. So at the end of the day, like, I've been told my boobs hang too low for certain things, I've been told that I'm too fat to cosplay certain things, I've been told, like, the list goes on, and at the end of the day, I turn around and I try and smile at that person and I kill them with kindness, and sometimes it hurts me inside to do it. But at the end of the day, if we want to make this universal shift into our society not being this constant need to prove yourself and be the next better person and put someone else down to get that foot up, we pretty much kind of have to take the high road. And I know that sucks, and maybe that will make me the sort of least favorite of the panelists to say, obviously stand up for yourselves. Obviously, if something wrong is happening, report it. Go to security. Take proper measures. But at the end of the day also, try and find where you can fight the battles yourself. And sometimes just fight those battles, just a little bit of kindness. It can make a world of difference. Yeah. Next.
I feel like it's like, unless you drop the mic, it just hangs.
going.
Just do it.
Drop the water bottle instead.
Just drop the water bottle. All right, take it away, Courtney. And also, speaking of the online piece, so I don't know if folks saw on our social media before we got here, but there was a subreddit about how offensive our panel was, and how we were probably going to pull the fire alarm and scream at men the whole time.
Because we're crazy feminists.
It's been almost a half an hour, still haven't yelled at anybody. Just putting it out there. So, last but not least, there's still time. So, Courtney, and then we want to open up and hear what you have to say.
I'm nowhere near as amazing at cosplay as the ladies next to me are. This is actually the first thing I've ever pulled off. And the reason for that is, some of you have been reading my blog and you already know this story, but I'm going to tell it again. I was really, really scared to cosplay. I wanted to. My sister is an FX genius. I could have any costume I want. But I didn't want to do it because I was worried what people were going to say. I was worried that I was going to be called fat, that I wasn't going to have the right jacket, that I wasn't going to have the right hair, makeup, whatever, and that I was going to get torn down. Because, unfortunately, I've been around long enough to know that that's what happens. And I've had issues identifying as a geek in the past. I went through a phase in high school where I was uber geeky. And then I kind of drifted away from it because it just didn't really seem, I had this kind of weird thing going on. I like to call it the Kardashian complex, where I was really into mainstream stuff, and I liked my, my Sex and the City and my girly stuff, and that was really cool to those friends. And then I was really into my Star Trek, my Doctor Who, and my geeky stuff, and that was really cool to those friends. But then I would get flack from both groups about what I liked in the other side. So my mainstream friends would give me flack for being geeky, and my geeky friends would give me flack because I liked that normal stuff. Yeah. And so I just kind of threw up my hands at the whole thing for a couple of years and just kind of let it all go. But now I'm, you know, and it's the same thing. I came to this con and that just relit the fire inside of me. And I want everyone else to have that experience. We are a good city. We are a good community. And the way that we can make that better is by just, you know, how many of you guys know Wheaton's Law?
Don't be a dick.
Exactly. We need to look out for each other. If you see someone not having a good time, you need to be there to support them. You want to make sure that their weekend is just as good as yours. And you know, we just need to be nice to each other. I get it. We've all got our issues, but you just need to kind of support and just realize that that person probably has been through exactly what you've been through. And we're all people. Even if we're wearing a costume, well, just because we're wearing a costume doesn't mean there's not a real person in there. So, that's what I got.
That's a great note too. One, don't be a dick, which I feel like today I just interviewed this morning.
Doesn't mean just male though.
Yeah,
no,
don't be creepy.
Not gender.
Yeah, just don't, yeah, it's gender neutral dick. Like, this morning, when I was doing some press this morning around the panel, which they were not harassing me, and they were like, "How would you define it?" And I was like, "Just don't be creepy." Like that was my whole thing. Just don't be creepy. Like I don't know, that's how I defined it. So. But the piece around what do we do about it, and I'm glad we have like a solid 15 minutes to sort of talk about what we do about it. So just to give you a bit of context, we as Hollaback, we believe 100% in by-center intervention, and we have a program that's called Direct, Delegate, or Distract. So if it's safe to intervene directly and challenge the person, maybe you know them, maybe the person being targeted, you can challenge them. If you don't, you can create a distraction. So oftentimes, like you did, right? Your friend, someone's being inappropriate to your friend, and you just kind of pretend that you don't know that you're inserting yourself between the two of them. And then you can delegate. So this weekend, we're going to be walking around with the signs, and we're going to be a safe space for people. You can report to the minions. You can report to other people. You can delegate to someone else if you don't feel safe calling out that person. You can say, this guy right here is making her uncomfortable. I don't feel like I can say something, but I'll get someone else to come and help me. So that's kind of our approach to dealing with it broadly. But how do we get that message out? How do we get people to understand what harassment is? And how do we change the culture is, I guess, sort of what we're sort of wondering. And also recognizing that, yeah, the online piece is part of that conversation, right? Like if my interaction with the geek world is online and it's awful, then what's the incentive for me to come and spend the money to come to a con where I have to look at these people in the eye, right?
Totally blended.
Yeah, they're two like, yeah.
I don't even think it's two separate worlds anymore.
And to sort of even add on that, not only is it blended, but it's one of those, let's say you suffer some harassment at a convention, and now you go home, and now you're going to see the pictures posted online, and now the people, like it can, the online community is so much a part of it now that it can prolong your experience, good or negative, which is something I think a lot of people don't consider.
So for example, the people who were asking them to take pictures with us today, we're getting them to sign a consent form because it's important to ask people, hey, can I take your picture? And this is what I'm going to do with it. Are you cool with that, right? Simple. And like I said this morning when I was being pressed with these people who were very honest in saying they don't know this world, right? They're like, that's pretty basic. I'm like, yeah, like don't touch people without asking them is like a pretty fundamental thing. But yet people think like because you have a cool costume, and then this woman talked about how her costume was destroyed because someone went to grab something on it and then it ripped, and it's like, do you know how much time and money I spent on my costume? Like what the hell? It's not okay.